if you are not able to get the recurrence relationship for a dynamic program. Recurrence relationship means the relationship which is going to help you solve the problem, which is in case of Fibonacci top-down approach was Fibonacci n minus 1 plus Fibonacci n minus 2. There it was pretty obvious. Or if you use a bottom-up approach, Fibonacci of ith entry depends on the entry in the table for Fibonacci I minus 1 and I minus 2. Now that recurrence relationship, which is so obvious in case of recursion or in case of Fibonacci or in many such problems, is always little hard to find. It requires you to understand the problem in detail, think about that problem, and huge amount of practice. Okay. Now, because we have been teaching this for many years now, I can tell you that before dynamic programming sinks in, about 30 to 40 sessions have to pass, something like 50 sessions, before it begins to sink in its full glory. Okay, so you have to patiently work your way through almost 50 sessions from now on. Okay, now you're on, I think I don't know which session, maybe 16th or 14th session maybe. From here, another 50 sessions or 40 sessions, depends on you, before you become very comfortable with dynamic programming. Okay. Now you will see some of your friends becoming very quickly dynamic programmers. Some of you will not become so fast. That is why I am cautioning you in the middle. Please don't get frustrated. Please don't lose heart. It will come. Only thing is, it requires patience and you need to stay with it. Okay. So what we are going to do is, we are going to do 1 or maximum 2 dynamic programs every day. And then we are going to proceed with it. And then slowly we will increase the number of dynamic programs. And then we will ensure at some stage, maybe in about 40-50 sessions, we will see some progress, and hopefully you'll have lot more people. And just to give you the confidence, by the 4th year second semester, that is 4th year first semester, which is now, okay, most of the people who have attended my program, most of them, I will not say all of them because that doesn't happen ever. Okay, most of them are very adept at dynamic programming. Once you become very adept at backtracking dynamic programming, there is very little that Microsoft or Google can throw at you, okay, or Amazon can throw at you, because everything you can solve because you know the mantra. The dynamic program, if you're able to write what is the essence of the dynamic relationship. So once you understand how to write the recurrence relationship, you will get it. Okay. And as I said, again, I'm repeating again and again, it won't come early. Okay. Some people do something and some people do it, but I'm seeing most normally, it will come to you by your 40th or 50th session. Okay. From now. Okay. So you need to have that kind of dedication. You need to have that kind of patience and temerity to last those sessions, take that trust, and once you do that, then it stays with you for life. Okay, it's like learning swimming. So once a dynamic programmer, always a dynamic programmer, because then his repertoire and strength has increased so much that you give any problem, he starts thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to do it, finished. And the other technique is, of course, AI. Okay, that obviously some of you are adept, and that is also an encouragement for some of you to become adept, that after where dynamic programming stops, AI begins. Okay, then we are moving from a algorithmic space to a non-algorithmic space, to a neural network based space, where we are not based on recurrence relationship, because recurrence relationships, though very complicated and powerful to design, not complicated but powerful to design, are limited. And recurrence relationships also have some limitations in the way they are implemented from the point of view of GPU. Okay, now as an aside, I will just tell you, GPUs are not good for recursion generally. So what kind of approach will you use if you wanted to use dynamic programming on GPUs? You will use bottom-up programming, correct? You'll use tabulation, correct? So that is the reason why tabulation is very important, because when you want to implement an algorithm on a GPU, the tabulation approach lends itself. You will see this because I'm going to teach GPU programming in this batch at some stage. So because we need it for many interesting projects. So if you are going to learn GPU programming, and which you should, of course, then you will realize the tabulation is far easier to adapt. I'm not saying you cannot adapt top down or recursion, but you need to struggle more. It's easier to adopt the tabulation approach onto a GPU. Okay, so that is another advantage, which is not in textbooks, but that's what we see in real life. Okay, so let us start today's session. Now, in today's session, we have two problems which are not DP. Then there is one problem which is DP. Okay. So first I will open the problems which are not DP. One of them is midway between DP and non-DP.